MTG community, Johnny here. I haven't done one of these in a while. This is a precon from the Adventures of the Forgotten Realms set that just recently released. This is Galea, Kindler of Hope. And now let's cover the land base. All right. We have two basic planes. We have 4 basic islands. We also have we have 8 basic forests. Now on to our non-basics. We have a Canopy Vista, a Prairie Stream, we have a Thriving Heath. This is a reprint from the Jumpstart lands. A Lumber Falls. We have a Holomar Depths. We have an Azorius Chancery. We have a Path of Ancestry. We have a Seaside Citadel. A Grasslands. A Port Town. Of course, multicolor always throws in a command tower. We have a Floodplain, a Terramorphic Expanse, another Jumpstart reprint, Thriving Grove. We have a Vitu Ganzi, the City Tree. We have a Simic Growth Chamber. An Exotic Orchard. A Mishra's Factory. We have a Sungrass Prairie, a Skycloud Expanse, and here's the third reprint from Jumpstart, the Thriving Isle. We have a Bant Panorama. We also have a Fortified Village, and of course no commander deck would be complete if it didn't run in Evolving Wilds. Now that is all the lands. Let's go into our artifacts. We have an Ebony Fly. We have an Arcane Signet. And finally, we have a Soul Ring. Those are the only 3 artifact cards. But now let's go into the equipment package. First one we have is a Sword of Animist. This is Moon Silver Spear. This is only the second printing of it. We have a Viridian Longbow. We have Winged Boots. A Behemoth Sledge. We have a Holy Avenger. We have the new art Swiftfoot Boots. I personally prefer this one over the other printings. We have a Masterwork of Ingenuity. We also have a Basilisk Collar. We have a Colossus Hammer. Robe of Stars. We have a Belt of Giant Strength. We have an Explorer's Scope. We have a Sword of Hours. And we have an Argentum Armor. There are 3 dice rolling cards in this deck, if you're familiar with that mechanic. Let's go on to the enchantments, because this deck is based around enchantments and artifact equipment. We have Angelic Gift. We have a Fertile Ground. We also have an Abundant Growth. And Eel Umbra. We have a Greater Good. And that's not actually an enchantment that you can equip to your creature. This one right here, Enchant Aura, is an enchantment that basically is a replenish. You have enchantments in your graveyard for equipment, you equip this or enchant your creature with this, and it brings everything back and attached. We have a, there we go, Psychic Impetus. We have a Kenneth's Transformation. We have a Utopia Sprawl. We have a Wild Growth. We have a Rancor. We have Imprisoned the Moon. A Grift's Boon. We have a Curse of Verbosity. Sorry if I mispronounced that. We have a Shielding Plaques. We have a Verdant Embrace. And the other just regular one is Nethra's Puzzle Ward. And if you read this, you have to roll. This is one of the rolling cards. You have to roll a d4. Scry X, where X is the result. So if you roll a 4, you get to scry 4. Alrighty. Now let's move on to the sorceries. Well, we have 4 sorceries here. First one we have is a Valiant Endeavor. We have a Winds of Wraith. I love the art on this one. A Serum Visions. And lastly, for the sorceries, we have a Nature's Lore. Moving on to our instants. We have a Velociraptor Stance. We have a Ride the Avalanche. We have a Brainstorm. A Bant Charm. We have a Song of Inspiration. That is also a, let me just show you this one again. This is also a dice rolling one. You roll a d20 and you add the total mana value of those cards. 1 to 14, return those cards to your hand. You have 15 plus, return those cards to your hand. You gain a life equal to their mana cost. We have a Diviner's Portrait. This is also another one. If you can read it, it's a roll d20. Add the number of cards in your hand. 1 to 14, you draw X. 15 plus, you scry, then draw X. And the last card that got reprinted, and I personally like this artwork a heck of a lot better. This is Heroic Intervention. Okay, so that was the instance. Now let's go over the creatures. First creature we've got is Paradise Druid. Then we have a Prognostic Sphinx. We have a Puresteel Paladin, and it has Metalcraft. We have a Fey Steed. We have a Riverwise Augur. We have an Acidic Slime. Here is the other commander that you could use in this deck. Let me see if I can get this not so blurry. There we go. Storvold Frost Giant. And it's got Ward 3. So if you didn't like the other commander, you can run that. We have a Katie Bree of Mirthral Hall. Sorry if I butchered that. We have a reprint from Thornvale Drain, Realm Cloaked Giant. We have an Angel of Finality. We have a Cold-Eyed Selkie. We have a Fleecemane Lion. We have a Clay Golem. And this is another dice rolling one. You roll a d8. Monstrosity X, where X is the result. Then we have Knight of Autumn. And for our last creature card, we have Sram, Senior Edificer. Now, when I first saw the mana cost to equip, I'm like, how am I going to do all this? How am I going to equip it? Well, on the commander, it says, it has Vigilance. You may look at the top of your library at any time. You may cast an aura or equipment spell from the top of your library. When you cast it from the top of your library this way, it gains when this equipment enters the battlefield, attach it to the target creature you control. So it's basically a Cigar's Aid on a creature. So basically you look at the top of your library, and if it's an enchant aura or an equipment, you pay the cost of the enchantment or the equipment, and it automatically just equips. Anyway, this has been my deck tech for the pre-release. Not the pre-release, oh gosh. The Adventures of the Forgotten Realms. And let me know what you think. If you guys have purchased any of the new set or are kind of on the fence about which commander deck. I personally enjoy this one, just for the fact I like running equipment and enchantments. If you look back on my Xur the Enchanter deck, that's one of the main reasons I purchased this one. So anyway, have a great day and happy gaming.